Good morning, everybody. Well, 17 more minutes of morning. It is so cold. I actually had red in here. Look how silly my hoodie looks. I had red in here, and I had the window open so we get some fresh air and stuff into the office. But oh my gosh, it's 50 degrees outside, and it's a cold 50. I just don't understand. Sometimes different temperatures feel colder or warmer. All right, so I believe I'm working on flashcards. I believe yesterday I worked on Say Hello. Now I'm working on flashcards, and I'm trying to remember. Like it feels like a million years ago, but last Sunday I believe I was trying to get a service working that would get the voice recognition rolling. And for this specific project at this time, I'm going to hard code it to English and um, English and US version for flashcards. Maybe in the future we'll open it up to other languages and stuff. But for now, I'm just going to focus on English and American. American. Whoop, whoop. Anyways, so let me get out of this thing. So I'm going to kill my operation. I don't think yeah, unit tests and oh yeah, and Cypress tests are both shut down. So now this is shut down. So we hit reload and we see that it's not running. So flashcards, I just want to validate to myself that it's probably flashcards by saying, okay, so space time yesterday, last night I worked on my other project, the Media System 2026 version 2, effort 2. I wanted to do effort 1. Effort 1 was the idea that I was going to do it in. So I tried a couple in 2025 and then they failed. And then 2026, I decided I was going to try to do it in Electron, and then there's some issues that are I didn't want to deal with Electron. So now I'm back version 2, which is just like 3 node applications and 2 front end applications in hopes of building out something so that I can go out, take 100,000 pictures, 20,000 pictures, 50,000 pictures, and then just upload them and then like and be able to manage that easily. Because I do think like I meet people like literally almost at least on a weekly basis, sometimes 10 or 15 people on a week to week basis that have the same issue. They have this really cool ass camera, but they can't share the pictures off of it with other people. So in a an effective way. All right, so we have our say hello, which is what I was working on yesterday. Then we got my wife's business, and then flashcard. Whoop, whoop. So I'm going to go to flashcards, see if I can figure out what the heck I'm doing here. All right. Usually the first thing I'll look at is the name of the thing. Let's see. Fortunately, it always brings you back. So it looks like we are in toggle recognition.ts, which is, oh, okay, so this is a component. This is a toggle component, and you can hit start, stop. Oh, yeah, that's right. We wanted to make this pretty. All right, so flashcards is in its own folder. So the API, so npm start. We really do need to like think through the unit tests, make sure that the unit tests are all passing at 100%, and then also think through the Cypress. The Cypress is going to be really tricky on this one because I don't think you can. I'll be able to really for the most important pieces. I don't think I'll be able to do. It could be fully automated. I think it's going to have to be like a hybrid test between people and all that. So it's kind of funny because I was thinking about like, I mean, obviously, I think it's very, very clear that what most people think computer programming is, and what most people think that the AIs can do are completely screwed up. They're just off by literally, it's hard to even explain. It's like someone thinking that, oh, I want a steam engine, and then they're like, but yeah, there's no water. It's like you can't even get started. You need steam. You have to have water to make steam. Like it, the, you can't. it can't write code for you. And I was once in this class with this lady who I had to get a certification for agile scaling, and so it was a very expensive certification. And so I did it. I got my certification, and the lady that was teaching it was saying QA people are now writing code, so Google's not even going to need programmers anymore because they can just have their QA write the code. And it's just like Cypress end-to-end test coding is so dramatically different than actual application. It's like saying that, oh, well, um, people sometimes walk on the side of the road, so we don't need cars anymore. It's just like they're not they're just barely related to each other. But anyways, so I have this guy. Looks like we've created a toggle. Ooh, that looks nice. It looks like right now the microphone is off. Right now the microphone is not on, but it is that. And it looks like we're calling functions. And I don't know if we want to, like, if this is a good spot now, like, to get end-to-end tests working. But I think if we do, well, okay, I think there's waiting, right? So I think we have 3 icons, and basically, oh, and they're all just sitting on top of each other. And then I guess what we want to do is add a ng class. And I can't really quite remember. Or I guess what we also could do, well, we could add an ng class here, right? And that ng class, do you use Angular 22 on ng class? I think we have. So in Angular 21, I get confused because at work we use Angular 10, I believe. It's either 9 or 10. And the way your template scripting language is different in Angular 10 than it is in Angular 20, and I don't think it affects ng class. Let's just try it. I believe what we want to do is we want to say like ng class equals. Okay, so that does not appear to be right. Okay, how do you set up dynamic classes? Classes like, I'll put it in parentheses, class in Angular 21. I don't know if it's different. Okay, so you do ng class, but for some reason it's upset because ng class is not, it doesn't know what that is. And so I think ng class, if I remember. Okay, well, actually, you know what? I would rather, yeah, actually, I would rather do ng if. Okay, how about if? Now, I can't remember it. No, I mean, I meant if statements. The element. That's not even hardly English. Let's see. And see, that it was funny. So I have this dear friend. His name is AD, and he has he has an AI business and he's really into AI and he does a lot of like social media and AI and stuff like that. And I was watching him. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. And he was saying, what was he saying? He was saying that I totally forgot. Anyways, if you do this, and then, okay, so we only want to show the block if, let's see, if voice state, which equals, I don't know how we should do that with this thing here. And then, I don't know if you do, maybe you do like this, voice. Oh no, let's see, this is voice state dot off. This doesn't really like match up in my mind to JavaScript. It's just like, is it lowercase off? Is it lower? Maybe it's all lowercase off. There we go. So if the voice state is off, then we're on block. But if it's waiting, then we want to show waiting. Okay, and then waiting. And then this is on. And so this is a perfect example, like when I think the Cypress, and I'm just guessing, I believe Cypress is going to be able to flick that on, but then it's going to ask. The browser is going to be like, do you want to allow it always or this time or blah, blah, blah. And I think even if you hit always, it's still not going to take. It's going to, it'll, but I think the human being watching is going to have to actually interact during the test. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so it's kind of weird because it didn't seem to change. Let's see. It's kind of funny they're all gone too. Like I wonder, let's look at the inspector and see what's happening in here. Control icons. That's weird. And then this one's supposed to be showing, I think. Oh no, that's display none. Okay. Oh, that is probably because this. Okay, I don't think I want. I think since we added that extra logic, I don't think we want that. So, okay, cool. So now it's waiting. Now it's off. Now we're waiting. So at this point, we should get like a pop-up that says, all right, do you want to do it on? But I'm wondering, I feel like this is the point. This is the idea. This is the place that we want to actually like we have just enough to set up Cypress tests and all that. So this seems like a really good place to stop, implement. And I feel like we technically have done what we're supposed to do. Um, I mean, I was kind of envisioning more, but I think we can work with what we have because this is a very good time to actually get unit tests working. So let's see where we are with unit tests. So npm run test. I have no idea. Not the vaguest idea where we are with unit tests, but I definitely don't. Oh, we need to go into the Flashcard builder. But I definitely want to have unit tests, and because, oh, no, my goodness, test. So unit tests and two unit tests will run in here, but in Cypress will run that in the Cypress project. And the main reason I do that, there's only really one top reason why I do that, and that is because I want my unit tests. I mean, I want to be able to have different versions of TypeScript on Cypress versus Angular. So now this is using, I believe it's called VI test. Let's see, 12 coverage enabled V8. Here we go. 0 passed. Oh, so they failed. All right, so I think it makes a lot of sense to probably try to figure that out now. This is not like something I'm looking forward to, but it does seem like. So it has one test and it failed. You had one test. So I believe I can type in fdescribe here. I don't know though. This is not, I'm used to using Jasmine Karma, and I believe this one is called VI test. So it has no fdescribe. How about FIT? Does not appear to have a FIT. But it could also just be that something is broken here, but I don't think so because so um, um, so latest Angular project. I think it installed VI test, but VI, I think it's VI space test. And I am used to Jasmine Karma. It looks like T to isolate. It doesn't work. If it does not exist, used to do, yes. Oh, dot only. That's right. Or test. Don't do that. Describe dot only. I do like that though. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna like it in the long run, but in the short run, I really like this dot only thing. All right. So let's see what we're at. Okay, so it looks like I need to run it again. Feels like it's slower than it used to be, but maybe it's just because it's like broken or something. So my service is not truthing. It doesn't like my service for some reason. And I did like that little pop-up thing that you got with Angular. Um, but Okay, so before each testbed inject, what's the problem? Cannot set properties of undefined setting continuous. So it's like this continuous. What is it talking about? I don't. Oh, this right here. This recognition. Okay, so it doesn't have a recognition. It's saying, hey, this recognition doesn't have a continuous. That's kind of wild. And I think it cannot set property of undefined. So this, so I think this is okay in actual code, but does not seem to work. Okay, so, and I'm guessing there's some sort of, uh, okay, so, so in my test, or in my is breaking on um, this code. So I'm pretty sure this would have worked in Jasmine Karma. This code, um, because this dot recognition is undefined. I'm just curious. I feel like the right answer is probably to just put a question mark right there. But it's like, how do I run this stuff? I guess I have to break these out into other functions. Um, why would I want to test this in Node? It's saying that a Node-like environment, not a real browser. Mock speech recognition. Okay. Alternative guard against undefined components, which is kind of like, I think, what I was saying, if this recognition. So is it possible to run BI test in a browser instead of the node-like environment? I feel like this might be a killer. This might actually make BI tests not usable for actual browser unit testing. Okay, so you can set it up in browser mode, real browser. Install browser dependency. So I'd have to use Playwright? Has a built-in browser runner that uses Playwright or WebDriver. So I have to install Playwright. Use JSDOM or HappyDOM. In browser with some API. Yeah, so this is probably true. I feel like I want to use a real browser. And it looks like I will have to use something called Playwright, which I believe Playwright is a lot like Cypress. Um, but it looks like I need to get that VI test browser Playwright npx, and then probably when I run it, I'm gonna have to do something different. I almost feel like I should commit this as is and then create a new issue and just say, hey, this is done. I did it. And then create a new issue for Playwright. Or maybe I think I should just do it in this. So fair to say that Playwright, I don't know if this is even, and are have same is it fair to say that Playwright and Cypress have the same responsibilities? I don't know how to say this because saying that they're the same probably isn't fair, but okay, end-to-end testing. Okay, so now what did it say about that? And see, this is the kind of stuff that, like, when the Angular developers, like the core developers are like, we support what we support, blah, 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 blah. Just because it doesn't default install Jasmine Karma, it doesn't mean we don't support it. It's like, yeah, it does. It means you don't support it anymore. Um, Maybe not today, but in in the future, it's no longer. No one's even know. The people who do Jasmine Karma are just gonna look like a bunch of weirdos. Um, or WebDriver. Man, it's a shame they didn't set this up to use. So can it use Jasmine? I wonder if it can use. Um, so can it use Cypress provider, or does it have to be Playwright? Okay, so that sucks. That's a bummer. And it is kind of how you find things. Um, how things get to see, to me, Playwright is the Blu-ray of, like, it's gonna be around. It'll be around forever. I don't think it'll ever be like the dominant end-to-end testing in real life, in actual real life. In corporations, yeah, it's gonna definitely, they're gonna have the most downloads. It's the corporate solution, but I think the Cypress is the much better solution. And honestly, heavy emphasis on I think. I'm not sure about that. But so I need to install Playwright, which is kind of a bummer. And then I need to install um okay, so I need to install okay. Okay, so first need to install Playwright. And like when people say like, "Oh, why can't you give like a really good estimate on exactly how long everything's going to take, especially when things are new?" This is why. So you just don't know. You just don't know. Like I just assumed I'd be able to run unit tests in a browser for Angular. Like why? Why would you not be able to run? Why in the world would you want to run unit tests against Node? That makes no sense at all. Like this is for browser stuff. Like it makes sense like from a like, oh, JavaScript Node is a Node like is for JavaScript because this is for JavaScript. And it's like no, I'm trying to unit test a browser, things to work on a browser. I'm not trying to unit test things for code in general. Um, okay, so I need to do this. So I'm going to put this in my package and my rule control package. And it's for Flashcard Builder. My rule is I always close everything else. And then I'm going to do this. Control E. How did I do my installs? This isn't, yeah, Playwright. What is the D? I don't know what that D is. I don't think I want the D. Well, I did it here too, though. All right. So npm install. So if anyone says, "Oh, it's no big deal. You can just switch right over to VI test, and there's going to be no learning curve, and it's just going to be the easiest thing, and they just slide together." Lie, 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 lie. That's a lie. Playwright. Install Playwright. And now Playwright needs an actual browser engine. That is wild. Install Playwright and visit VI test browser package from your project root. Okay, so that is not, I do not want that from my project root. I want it from the Angular project's root. All right. Now apparently we get the browser engines. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because it looks like you're installing. Man, it's so weird. PW browser engine. And again, like there's absolutely nothing in this command that would lead you to believe that this installs the browser engines. That's why you kind of have to get that in yourself. Like I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, and yeah, it's weird. Like this makes no sense to me. npm run, and it's like things are gonna like if you're in any kind of technology at all, like you probably can't understand every single aspect of the technology from top to bottom. Um, so there are going to be things that you have to like just kind of go on faith and just do, but like it's super important that you actually are truthful with yourself when you're doing things that you don't understand. And it is bizarre that this installs the browser engine. That just doesn't make any sense at all. But apparently this will download Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit for me. Then I'm going to have to find my VI test config. I don't even remember. I don't think I have a VI test config. So VI test. Yeah, see that shit didn't. We don't even have a VI. Okay, so I do not have. Okay, so on step 3, because I don't have a VI. I don't think I have a VI test config file. That's normal. Okay, so in there, I want to create a new file. So I didn't have to do any of this crap with Jasmine Karma. Like none of this. You didn't have to do any of this. Like Jasmine Karma just worked. So, you know, I don't know. You take from that what you will, but I am not impressed. New file. I don't think that goes in source. That becomes a sibling. Okay. vi test.config.ts. All right, and then I guess we need to just pull this stuff in, copy code. We're going to import define vi from vi test config. I don't even know if that's going to work. It'll be interesting because I don't have. Oh, probably in my node. It's in my node modules. It's probably a vi test. Yep, there it is. I think that's where it's trying to get that from. Yep, I found it. JS DOM provider though. It's saying that it doesn't know what the hell provider means. Okay. Make sure you're installed dependencies. So those are installed. Okay. So this is not working. So let's see what it says about that in my vi test.config.ts file. The IDE is complaining because it does not recognize the provider attribute. You're relatively new and your TypeScript might not know about it yet. Here are a few ways to fix it. Quick, fast to any. So it's saying make this an any down here. So that's number one. Let's see what number two. And it did not say that that is suggested. A lot of times it'll say, hey, this is our suggested. Flat. Oh, projects with older VI test types. I mean, like I literally just installed this just now. So it's saying export default, define. Oh, and then it added a whole new like node in here, and then pass it via CLI. Okay, so let's go look at our, if we look at our package, we can see what version of. All right, so we are trying to find our VI test version. 4.08. So I'm just going to say, according to my packages, and I'll just do this. To support the provider option. 4.3 is what it says. Okay, so it's saying that I shouldn't have done this. What I should have done was browser. Okay, now this is going to be dvi test, and then I added Playwright. Okay, so this is how I installed Playwright. See, and I wouldn't even have this if I didn't have this right. Okay, so this is how I installed Playwright. It's Playwright, right? Or is it? I don't even think I installed VI test. Wait, so is that the problem? Okay, so Playwright. I don't think I ever explicitly installed VI test. And see, this is definitely getting the feeling that not a whole lot of people have done what I'm doing right now. And the thing is like somebody has to get through this, figure all this stuff out, and then the large language models will be able to reap that work that someone did and share that work. Not be installed. Okay. Well, no. I think it was installed. Okay, so it's weird. Okay, so I think it was installed. Installed because I have this package. It's so hard not to get really mad at like the Angular folks for this type of stuff, but I mean, it is like they really truly are more of the uh, providers. So to upgrade, okay, so do this. But you know, they really, really more than anything else are the they are the messenger. Like they are just telling you, hey, dude, like Jasmine Karma's got issues. They're just not working out, and I don't really like doing like latest at. Well, I guess that's okay. I was gonna say I don't like it, but I won't probably won't call this function again. But you know, there's like it's like telling me, oh, you installed this, and it's like, no, I didn't. That's what came with the CLI when I installed it. If I had installed it, it would be in this list of scripts. Run install VI. I guess teta test is a bit much. VI test. Oh, okay. So now I have conflicting peer dependencies. And it's probably, I guess, because of this. So let's go ahead and delete this and try it again. So I think what it was saying is, hey, I called this, but we already had it installed. Who knows? I mean, we may literally be completely destroying this project right now. There's just no telling. And it was just for unit testing. So could not resolve while resolving flashcard builder. So it's not letting me install VI test latest. And it's saying that, yeah, it's saying that I have. Okay, flashcard, e-resolve. While resolving flashcard builder. Okay, so it looks like my version of Angular is out of sync. Okay, so now, so I ran this. Okay, so I ran this. Peer, all right, a peer, see dependency error. See, I thought it was complaining about Angular. Angular. Okay. Like this. I see this. E-resolve. Angular, its own strict dependency on the latest VI test form may require a different version from some packages like Node that conflict with Angular's 21 build service. See, and this is the exact reason why I wanted Cypress to be in its own folder. And I almost feel like maybe VI test needs to be in its own. So, because yeah, you start getting conflicts between different, like they need different libraries. Use the latest. So yeah, so this is where we were. You may need the CLI workaround, set a provider, and config. Okay, so if I had VI test in its own directory / project. I'm starting to be like starting to think this is yeah, see these projects that you used to be able to just like sort of lop onto or just connect up with Angular, um just have all their own dependencies, and if their own dependencies are out of sync, you just can have all kinds of problems. All right, so um, will just do that. Um, and I probably want to do that in the other project too. Um, all right, so let's just Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. So I'm definitely wanting to go down the VI test routes, but more honestly, like because of intimidation more than anything else. I just don't like I don't want to be a Quixote where I'm like fighting for like fighting against windmills. It's just like, okay, fine. We're leaving Jasmine Karma behind. It was great. I spent decade freaking learning that shit. Now we're on VI test. It's got its own set of problems. Here we go. Um, but like, you're just gonna have these just little mean little awful new middling developers that come up and they're gonna be like, you don't know VI test? So it's just like, okay, so we're gonna delete this. And then I think we're going to undo this package lock change. Okay, let's go to this view here. And then we are going to, okay, all of this stuff we still want. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and I just hate doing this, and I definitely, let me see what we have. A lot of times there's like a package that will delete all your, it's like called riffraff or something like that. And it'll delete all your node modules, but let's do that. Let's delete this. And this can take a long time in a lot of environments. If they have like a really intense, delete permanently. Um, if they have a really, really intense like system in place where they're afraid you're going to delete valuable information, they could be doing analysis on every file to see if you should be deleting it, um, and then it could take sometimes hours to delete the node modules. There is like a package called riffraff, I believe, which you can use then to, which will build, which will wipe out your node modules and build new ones. There's also like a CI, um, build dash CI that a lot of places will have, and it'll actually also delete all the node modules. But basically, I guess what we need to do is come in here, and this one is going to end up being committed as is, unfortunately. And then we're going to have to say a new one to specifically a test, I mean, a commit that, is it done? So it doesn't want to delete something in my node modules. Okay, I think I can just type in npm install. That might solve our problems. We got, like, basically, we just have a big mess right now. I'm just trying to come out of it without, what's in our spec? RTS config spec. Acts like there was some sort of change. Well, no, it doesn't act like there's a change. It acts like there's an error in it. But that there's no changes in it. That's so funny. Just trying to using unit tests used to be like the easiest thing in the world, right? It was like one of those things that just worked in Angular. Now it's a shit show. Like they took something that worked really, really well and just threw it away for something that does not seem to even work. But I'm probably just being bitter. All right, let's go to GitHub and create a story to install VI test in its own directory. Install VI tests and get to 100%. That'll be our new issue. VI test and get to 100% test coverage. Not assigning it yet. And then there's going to be another issue, which is Cypress. Create a toggle test that flips the toggle and checks the status. And that's a good one. And then this thing is still working away. Man, I can't even tell you how often this sort of thing happens to people, and just like it's just absolutely demoralizing. It just absolutely, like you're working someplace and you're trying to get some code doing, and you're sort of like on a two week sprint, and 2 week sprints are just absolutely ridiculous, because it's like there's 10 days. So if you say, oh, I don't want to call it a 2 week sprint, you say I want to call it a 10-day sprint, they'll almost always push back, because once you break it into days and then you realize you're going to lose a whole day to ceremonies, so now you have a 9-day sprint. And then you need at least a day, it needs to be done at least a day before the demos. That means you really have an 8-day sprint. And really, if you want to get in, you really want to have all your stuff done like on day 7, so that when the merges and all that start to happen, you can figure out how to fix them. All right, so looks like everything seems like we're back to stable. I don't know though. There's something weird going on there. See if we can start this. And I just don't think that VI test is completely fleshed out for Angular. I don't know that. That's something I definitely don't know, but I definitely don't. My sense is it just doesn't seem to be. And unfortunately, like when you're interacting with large language modules, at least in 2026, they only show pure confidence in everything they say. They're never like, I'm not sure. They're like, this is exactly right. And then you're like, okay, so that's exactly wrong. And they're like, yeah, see, that's my point. Like they won't ever admit to being wrong. And even if they do admit to wrong, they try to spin that into like a positive thing, like that they accomplished. Um, okay, so everything still seems to be working. And so before things get too out of hand, this stuff, we want to check this in. I would normally like to go through a phase of unit tests and end-to-end tests, but at this point in time, I would rather just get this checked in and then use this as basically like a test bed for running that. Now, one of the bad side effects is like if we're going to do all these things, yeah, see, we're not going to just automatically get unit tests made for every um, for every um, like when you create a new component, we aren't going to just get a unit test. I guess what we're going to have to do is have like sort of a process, a manual process, to where like a unit test spec is created and then we create the equivalent one in our VI test project, and then that and that will sort of be the thing is like, okay, so you'll copy and paste this and then move it over there. And actually, I don't even know, like, if you don't have Angular installed, does this function even exist? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me ask that. Oh my God. You guys did a terrible job. I mean, in general, I'm always truly respect the Angular developers, but with this unit test rollout thing, you guys did a terrible job. Um, all right, so okay, if I create a brand new project, see, because that's what's so different about unit tests from end-to-end tests is end-to-end tests don't care what the underlying technology is, but unit tests do. New folder and create a new VI test project. Then um, how do I get lines like this? Plain node Angular. That means the Angular specific utils like that won't work. Oh Jesus! I expect Angular test to work. VI test pure. Yeah. So then you have you can still use Angular's test node UCL. Separate VI test from pure. Yeah, I don't want this. Okay, so option two. See, the piece is like the piece that is screwed up is that um, um, it can no longer really test Angular anymore if you put it in its own folder, which is like, how would I have known that? There's no way to know that until you decide to take a step in that direction. Okay. Okay, so upgrade, grade my, let's see, 20. One point oh. It's like, okay, so these are the options as they appear to me right now. One, you can test it inline, but you can't test against the browser, right? Like that version of VI test can't test within the against the browser unless you do some um, workarounds, some hacks, which I would rather avoid hacks if at all possible. Two, I can test outside of that and use the browser, but I can't test Angular specific things. I don't want that either. Um, so like I'm kind of in a rock, between a rock and a hard place. Okay, to the very latest version of Angular, will this issue resolve itself? I did not expect this shit to go in this direction. Would likely resolve most issues here, but with some caveats. Wait, what is the latest? Is there an Angular 22? Did I miss 22? I missed 22? No. The fuck? Okay, so let's just skip all that crap because it obviously is confused. So the latest Angular is 21.1.4. Let's see here. See, like it didn't even say, "Oh, I was wrong. Sorry for telling you it was 22." Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. This means that you cannot jump to a later version. Won't magically make. Upgrade at 21. Stick to. Oh wait, so yeah. See, this is gonna end in tears here. An Angular 21.1 plus. No, you dumped so much information. Non-pertinent. Addition on me that I don't understand my options. Very clear and simple. Okay, so okay, again, too much. Is there any, does upgrading to 21.1.4 actually help with this specific issue? Or does it just inject another useless, another moving part? So understanding how things work will be that much more difficult. Now I see, it's so funny. Now I understand exactly what you're asking. It was like, oh, I didn't understand what you're asking. No, you understood what I was asking. Okay. Okay, okay. So upgrading is a good idea. It will likely just make this mission more likely to fail. So why did you lie? Why would you put me down that road if it was it's mostly patch fix and it won't solve your VI test for okay. And see, that's the major issue with this vibe coding that people are doing. Is like it's just dumping all kinds of just general ideas and general thought processes and things into your workflow, and who the hell knows if they work or they don't work. Um, because peer comment mostly between run browser mode test and keep test mode working is safer to stay on 21. Um, okay, okay, so that freaking so that issue's screwed up. Okay. Install VI test and okay, so note. So actually I thought I had okay, yeah, so this does not tell me to create a new folder. Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, okay, so the next step. Okay. Would be to okay, use the CLI flags for the browser mode instead of browser provider in the config. Oh, okay. Okay. Add a test that uses testbed. Okay, so wait. Okay, so okay, the default test that the Angular CLI created. So it looks like all I would need to do is add a script. Uh, you cannot just switch to, okay, so it should never have put me down this path. This browser provider path that it put me down was a terrible path. So then it even looks like I really want to do this in this, in that. So I just actually probably want to get rid of that whole thing. So add this to my, in here. Those bastards. Okay, so right now I have this. Okay, so right now I have, gosh, just replace that. Okay, wait, I don't. So just, um, the test failed immediately because it can't find. Oh my gosh, this is like pulling teeth. Oh, VI test node if you want. And see, I wonder, am I helping? And I don't mind it. I think it's wonderful if I'm actually helping other developers that will be coming through and trying to figure out how to do this in the future. But then it's like, okay, well, then who should be paying who, right? Whose Angular browser will break because Node doesn't have. Keep Angular CLI test for comments. Don't try to run them under VI test yet. Wait, don't try to run them under VI test yet. Okay, what does that even make? That doesn't even make sense. Makes makes sense. All I have is all I have is VI test. Only have VI test. You don't have Karma Jasmine set up at all. And you're not using it. Thank you. I don't know. See, this is the crazy awkwardness that happens when, like, if you've been working in Jasmine Karma, right, for like years and years and years, and then VI test comes out, and then VI test kind of becomes a thing in a couple years, maybe 2, 3 years, and then you find yourself working suddenly on a project that has VI test. You're just like complete confusion. But like we're experiencing the confusion right at the beginning. Or you're not using it, default. Run them what you need to do. And see, this is also, I would say that this is the kind of thing that will probably take a like legitimate, serious team, like that's legitimate and serious, a week to figure this out. And I think when you're sitting at the beginning of the year with the project managers, you think this is just automatically there. It's just going to work. I mean, why would the Angular team put out something that doesn't work? But it doesn't just work in browser mode. Playwright keeps everything real. So it's saying, okay, okay, but I also want test coverage. Why would I keep the old one? Okay, yeah, fuck that. Because they don't rely. Okay, why would I keep the first? Keep. God, this video is taking so much longer. Okay, okay. Okay. So test is VI test. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so okay, so I think I want this. I don't even want that other one. But I want test coverage as well. This is very annoying. But let's just see if this works. didn't work. Okay. So oh my God, we're back to here. Set a provider. But it doesn't know how to do providers. Okay. All right. So what is the, okay, so it's saying to create this VI test config. Again, we're back to here, creating a VI test config. Let's see, VI test.config.ts. And then we're going to copy this code. It's this, but then we got to come down here and replace the browser part with this. All right, so now it's complaining about name not existing. So that's, and I might need to install something, but I think we had when we were trying to install stuff. Okay, so now it is complaining. Now the IDE is complaining the name does not exist. Attribute. Before, here's what's happening. See, we're back to this crap. So we can remove this as is. So let's go ahead and try this. Test. So from here to here. What a pain in the butt. Oh, let's see. Okay, Keckner browser provider. Okay, so I think it's complaining that, okay, step one. Isn't this what I have? Enable true provider playwright name Chromium as any. Okay, so we're already good on this one. Step two, the CLA. Okay, so now we're just changing this. It really wants me to name this VI test. Browser. Golly. There's just, I definitely feel like this has not been well thought out yet. Nothing. Still no luck. Let's do a CLS here to clear the screen. Run this test again. Let's see. Startup error. Okay, so now I'm getting this error. VI test changed it no longer accepts strings like Playwright. Instead, it accepts the factory imported VI test browser player, which is so your config needs to how to fix it. Oh, let's try this again. I think we tried. God, freaking. No, I think this one worked actually. Um, I'm just going to call it. I guess I should call it Playwright install, and we'll see if we run into a pure dependency issue. Man, I just did not expect this to be so. Yeah, so now we're back to pure dependency. And this is it's genuinely exactly what I was afraid I would run into with Cypress being in the same thing. Okay, so now I'm back to a pure dependency. Oh, now we're back to SVI. Not a bug, it's a version conflict. Yeah, version conflict, and is like, yeah, this is a mess. This is not an Angular issue. Like, I guarantee that you can run into these exact same issues in every other framework. Um, yeah. Wait for Angular 22. Just wait for Angular 22. All right. So I think that this is probably the best. Okay. So I guess we won't do unit tests. Okay, so see what they say. Yeah, I understand. With Angular 20, the tool is playing nicely. Full unit tests that rely on the browser API. It's just so ridiculous. Why the F else would I want unit tests? Like, it's crazy. Like, if I was trying to do something else, I would probably create libraries and import libraries and do stuff like that, which is a good idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's not a good idea, but like, this is not working for my needs at all. Um, I think we'll lean heavily into Cypress E2 E and just not have unit tests in this project. Maybe in the next project, unit tests again. It's a shame because I just started enjoying unit tests. Real browser, yeah, so no, basically I just think um, Angular 21 just is not compatible with unit tests. Just a reality. Hopefully the Angular team get it together in time. 22. It's pretty fair. Angular 21, it just is a rough spot. Yeah, it's just not ready. It's growing pains. It's just standard growing pains. It's kind of a bummer. By the time Angular 22 comes out, this application will be so far along that it just won't make any sense anymore. So, it just like, you gotta miss it. I'm gonna miss unit tests. That was fun. It was neat having unit tests in my other project. But, it's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. Probably should just delete anything that has unit tests in them, like all the specs and all that. God, it's a bummer. I really enjoyed the unit tests. I was kind of looking forward to doing unit tests, and it was nice because it was like sort of my backup. Like, okay, at some point you have to really do a deep dive into each individual line of code and really understand what's going on, and that was nice having that, but it's just not feasible anymore. It's just a bummer. Fortunately, every line of code is pretty straightforward. All right, so I guess now there's really no reason for either of these issues because I want to do the karma as part of this. There's no reason to take it like a detour. Oh, this is the wrong one. Flashcards. Let's delete those two issues. Okay, so this was a mistake. And close issue. Just gonna add this. Unfortunately, Angular 21 2 with unit tests. Hopefully. In this project. Bummer. And this goes for my other project too. I'm not even gonna entertain the idea of doing unit tests over there. Close with comment. That is such a bummer. That is such a bummer. Cypress test. So, in the actual story. And close with comment. All right, so that's a bummer. It literally didn't accomplish a damn thing. Well, yes, we did. We did. We got this working, so that's good because that wasn't working. Yeah, next week we're gonna try to get the end-to-end test working. Basically, all I want to do is come in here, click this, see that that is this icon, then click this and see that this icon is there. And I probably need to add like a data ID, data Cypress ID, so that I can have that to look at. I guess that'll be a good idea to do now. Let's do this. I think it's data. And these need to be unique. ID equals. I think that's how you do that. And then microphone warn. Microphone wait. Microphone on. And that is how that will work. And it is very, 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 very disappointing that I can't do unit tests in Angular 21. You know, it's just not worth it. I hope they can get it together by Angular 22. I have very serious doubts that they will be able to, but it would be nice. It would be really nice. I don't think it makes sense. I didn't think it made sense a year ago to do Karma Jasmine if you were going to be learning it, like to try to learn it because it is definitely long in the tooth and not long for this world. So thought it made sense to wait. And let me see this thing. All right, so I just sort of ran across this doing my wife's. I was on Friday night. My wife had a did a did a presentation show school. She did like a class, and we recorded it, and I learned how to mute things during that process. But anyway, so yeah, so we have our Cypress IDs. So basically, I'm just looking to make sure that if I click this on, that this block shows. If I click this block shows. And if I click it again, this block shows. I think that would be a really good test for now, and then um, commit all that, and then try to work on actually turning the voice on um, when that happens, and then that would be the next story. But let's just finish this one up. Got a little bit done. Very, very disappointed. I just, but the world is constantly changing. I mean, it's just one of those things. And yeah, I mean, unit tests are awesome. Unit tests may not even make sense. And this kind of just shows how sort of dependent unit tests are. Like if Angular just quit supporting them, they're just not worth it. They're just not worth it anymore because trying to get all those core libraries and all that installed so that you can test things is just going to be too hard. I mean, unit testing like individual units of code like this, I guess that maybe that makes sense. Maybe I should consider that. But like the browser is part of this thing, and I just don't know how we can ever just be like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to ignore that the browser exists. Um, I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Um, anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.